The clock of all things allows Subai to upgrade even junk-tier gear into legendary equipment. He had obtained it as a supreme-level reward after clearing the 999th floor of the Tower of God video game. But right after that, he died, only to wake up in another world. To his shock, it turned out to be the very world of Tower of God itself. Combat classes, life classes, job transfer crystals. All of it was real here. Subai starts wondering if he has transmigrated into a parallel world where the Tower of God actually exists. Here, though, the tower has only been cleared up to the 99th floor. Subai feels this is exactly the kind of opportunity he wanted. If he is the one who cleared floor 999 in the game, then here he would be unstoppable. He thinks to himself that this must be the beginning of his peak life. Before he can get carried away, the teacher shouts at everyone to sit down quietly so they can receive their teleportation crystals. Once handed out, the teacher tells them to crush the crystal to begin their transfer and wishes them good luck and safe travels. The kids are hyped beyond belief, and even Subai admits to himself that he is quite excited. He crushes the crystal immediately. A notification greets him, welcoming him to the Tower of God. It says that personal information has been bound, data is being processed, and he should wait. Then another message dings, saying that the upload has failed, a pre-registered account has been detected, and it is attempting to log in. Subai feels his pulse race. If it can log into his old account, then he will be invincible. But soon another message arrives. The account information does not match, login has failed, and the system is attempting to clear data. Subai becomes furious. The thought of his old save file being deleted irritates him more than anything. And sure enough, in an instant, all his progress is erased. After the reset, he is welcomed once more to the Tower of God. He immediately recognizes the beginner town, the place where all new players gather to buy gear and supplies before stepping into the tower. While looking around, he receives another system message. Because he had cleared the 999th floor in the original Tower of God, he is being awarded the supreme artifact, Clock of All Things. He mutters in confusion to himself, wondering what exactly this is supposed to be. In the Tower of God, he recalls, items and gear are ranked by color. White for crude, gray for common, green for rare, blue for perfect, purple for epic, and orange for legendary. The Clock of All Things, however, is on a completely different level. Its quality is marked as Supreme Artifact, a heaven-tier reward that has no level requirements. Its effect is simple yet terrifying. Upgrade. The description says it is a clock that can successfully upgrade anything with a 100% success rate, though it comes with a very small price. The vagueness of the effect makes him uneasy, but since he is just a beginner and doesn't have much to upgrade anyway, he decides to look around town first. He even wonders if the tavern lady here would still remember him. Another announcement shakes the atmosphere. Since Yen Nation was the first to clear the newbie zone, all Yen Nation players are given a blessing. Stats increased by 10%. The crowd erupts in excitement, cheering for Sword God Lin, who had cleared it first. Subai checks his own stats and thinks aloud that since the Tower of God is now real, they can no longer treat it like a simple game. If someone dies here, they really die. Still, he notes, a 10% stat boost at the beginner stage is incredibly useful for job transfers. Then he remembers his supreme artifact. If it really works, even junk tier gear can be upgraded straight into legendary. He tests it on his noob equipment. To his amazement, it succeeds. The Clock of All Things truly upgrades items at a 100% success rate. He stares at the newly transformed legendary gear in shock. Just as he is starting to feel overjoyed, another notification cuts him down. The system tells him that the action has failed due to insufficient coins. Subai suddenly realizes the harsh truth. He is completely broke. With a heavy sigh, he admits to himself that the first step in this world is not about conquering the tower, it is about making money. After all, in the Tower of God, money solves everything. At the Tower of God, beginners gathered in the thousands. The first announcement hit them like a hammer. Their beginner protection would only last 7 days. 7 days. Fail to change your class in that time, and you're expelled from the tower. That was why every newcomer's top priority was simple: level up fast and get a class change crystal. Some were even willing to buy one from others at ridiculous prices. The crystals were that valuable. Even so, countless beginners were eliminated every single year. Inside the tavern, Subai leaned closer to the counter. He told the tavern lady that he had a few cocktail recipes and wanted to know if she was interested. One of them, he explained, was called Rare Beast Blood Wine, a drink so addictive it would keep customers coming back again and again. The tavern lady gave him a sharp look. She warned him that he'd better not be joking. Subai calmly offered to sell the recipe for 5 gold coins. He promised there was no trick involved. After a moment's hesitation, she agreed. 5 gold was nothing if the recipe was real. Still, she warned him that if he was lying, he wouldn't survive the consequences. Subai wasn't worried. He knew the recipe was genuine. It was only a basic tier 1, and he had knowledge of far better recipes tucked away in his mind. 5 minutes later, gasps filled the tavern. The wine glittered in the glass like a glowing red crystal. Everyone stared, wide-eyed. Then the crowd went wild. People pushed and shoved, fighting to get a sip. Exactly the reaction Subai had expected. The tavern lady tried it herself. Her eyes lit up. She immediately asked how many recipes he had, saying she wanted every single one. Subai chuckled. He told her he had 5 recipes in total, and since they now knew each other, he'd give her a discount. 20 gold coins for all of them. The tavern lady grinned. She told him he was quite the man, and that she was starting to like him. 20 gold coins in a single deal. Considering 1 gold meant 100 silver, and 100 silver meant 10,000 copper, that was a small fortune. More than enough to upgrade the clock of all things again. And the deal didn't end there. The tavern lady even gifted him a premium quality dagger as a bonus. Subai pocketed it, satisfied. Then, without lingering, he decided it was time to move on. The tavern lady tells Subai that if he ever comes across rarer wine recipes in the future, she would be interested in buying them too. Subai replies that she can count on it for the sake of their old friendship. The tavern lady laughs and calls him a smooth-tongued kid. Without wasting more time, Subai decides to upgrade his weapon. The process eats up a lot of silver, but the stat boost is more than worth it. As long as he manages to change his class during the protection period, spending money early is the smartest choice. Wasting time on slow development is not an option. He pours his silver into upgrades and is rewarded with some incredible results. With stats like these, clearing the first floor of the Tower of God will be as easy as slicing through a watermelon. Out at the beginner zone's outskirts, chaos is already breaking out. Players are fighting over wild rabbits. Subai frowns. He wonders why they're crowding around a creature like that. To him, the rabbit looks too cute to even think about killing. On top of that, wild rabbits barely give any experience points. Not to mention they don't even drop copper coins. But when the other players notice him walking closer, they start shouting at him. They tell him not to go into that unguarded area because it's dangerous. Subai doesn't understand what they mean by unguarded area. And then, without warning, a snake bursts out. A wind serpent strikes at him in an instant. One of the players panics and yells for Subai to watch out and come back quickly. He shouts that it's a wind serpent, one of the most dangerous monsters for beginners. Subai only smirks. He mutters that a tiny serpent like this isn't even enough to get stuck between his teeth. With one swift strike, he kills it instantly. The crowd freezes in shock. They whisper in disbelief, asking how he could possibly kill a level 1 wind serpent so casually. Subai waves it off and says there was nothing difficult about it. It only took a flick of his hand. Still, the other players keep warning him. They remind him that if a wind serpent lands a critical hit, it can kill a beginner instantly. With their weak gear and low stats, none of them could survive it. Dying once in this world means being gone forever. Subai just tosses a few copper coins toward them and thanks them for the warning. He tells them to take care of themselves too. The players wish him luck as he walks away, though once he's gone, their tone changes. They whisper to each other about how reckless he is. One of them complains that he even tried to help Subai but got brushed off coldly. He mutters that Subai will probably be dead in 5 minutes anyway. Meanwhile, Subai pushes further outside the safe zone. He notes with satisfaction that there are far fewer players here. That's exactly what he wanted. Another wind serpent appears, but just like before, Subai cuts it down in an instant. This really was just like the game Tower of Gods. But leveling up through rabbits and wind serpents felt painfully slow. Subai realizes that if he wants real progress, he will need to kill more monsters and push through the first floor as quickly as possible. More wind serpents suddenly slither out from the grass, but he cuts them down one after another. Instead of feeling tired, he feels excited, almost playful. Hunting monsters like this was definitely faster, but the drop rate was still frustratingly low. Then, an announcement shakes the entire tower. Season 10 of Tower of Gods has officially begun. All first-time players will receive the tower's blessing. Kill records in the beginner zone have been reset. Luxurious rewards await the first killers. New players, give it your all and surpass the pioneers. The words make Subai pause. Season 10. So that meant the race had officially started. If that was the case, he had no intention of letting anyone else take the first kill rewards. Not when he held the divine item, the clock of all things. Around him, The nobodies in the beginner zone whisper among themselves. They wonder aloud who will get the first kill this year. None of them dare to dream too big, though. They already believe it will go to one of the 3 great families of the eastern region. Those people were born with silver spoons in their mouths. Some even mentioned seeing the eldest daughter of the Lin family earlier. She was wearing a full legendary set, gear worth tens of thousands, maybe even millions. A complete set could go for tens of millions, and on top of that, she had high-level bodyguards protecting her. Compared to people like that, the ordinary beginners had no chance. So they put the thought out of their minds and go back to chasing rabbits. Meanwhile, Subai keeps mowing down wind serpents one after another. Then ding! A notification congratulates him. He has reached level 2. As the 823rd player in the eastern region to level up, he has been awarded a black iron chest, along with 2 free stat points. Subai nods in satisfaction. Not bad. But then, another system feature unlocks, the ranking system. He checks it and is stunned. So many players had already reached level 2. The top rankers were even closing in on level 3. He quickly realizes why he is behind. He had spent too much time earlier studying the clock of all things after entering the tower. That little delay had cost him a spot on the leaderboard. Still, he isn't worried. He tells himself that the others only have a temporary lead. Soon enough, he will be the one standing at the very top. With that thought, he focuses on the black iron chest he just received. He wonders what kind of reward might be waiting for him inside. Subai opened the black iron chest. Inside he found only a basic cloth armor and 30 copper coins. The system then told him to select which gear he wanted to upgrade. Now he had a weapon and some armor. He thought about it. The beginner boss wouldn't hit that hard anyway, so defense didn't matter much. What mattered was damage. He chose to upgrade the dagger. The system asked how many times. The maximum was 8. Each upgrade would cost 50 copper coins. Without hesitation, Subai decided to push it straight to the maximum. 8 upgrades in one go. More than 9 silver coins gone at once. But he could afford it. The stats refreshed. Only the first upgrade improved the base attributes, while the rest just stacked more attack power. Even so, his total attack was now close to 100 points. It was still labeled as excellent grade, yet the numbers were already on par with rare weapons. Subai knew then, this mysterious watch really was a legendary treasure. With this tool in hand, it was time to step onto the first floor of the Tower of God. The beginner boss, however, only spawned 10 times on the first day. Whoever killed it earned the right to enter the tower. Even teams could only secure a limited number of spots. And the first killer? Almost guaranteed entry. Subai hurried to the boss's location. But when he arrived, he heard the clash of steel and the roars of goblins. Someone was already there. He couldn't believe it. The first kill was supposed to be his. On the field, a group was fighting goblins. Their equipment shone with excellent grade glow. At the center was a young woman in full rare gear, Lin Yuchan, the Lin family's miss. Compared to her, Subai's dagger suddenly felt worthless. Lin Yuchan called for her second faction to regroup. She told the third to push forward and ordered her men to distribute potions quickly. They followed without hesitation. One of her aides told her they would soon reach the first floor at this pace. But Yuchan reminded him not to underestimate the Li and Bo families, since multiple routes could lead to the plains. Then her gaze landed on Subai. Her men noticed him as well. They asked who he was. Subai explained that he was on his own, not part of any team, and that they could continue their fight while he passed through. The Lin family members exchanged doubtful looks. For their battalion, fully equipped, it had taken half an hour just to clear the forest. Yet this young man had arrived alone? It didn't add up. Her aide warned Yuchan that Subai was trying to use their fight as cover to slip past and steal the boss. Yuchan immediately gave new orders. She told her 3rd battalion to cut potion use and instructed them to coordinate with the 4th to stop Subai with everything they had. She wasn't about to let anyone take her first kill. The soldiers turned toward Subai, ready to block his way. Subai only sighed. To him, they were nothing but a nuisance. Subai frowns and tells them they're already fighting their own monsters, so why bother dragging him into it? The Lin family's assistant only sneers. In his eyes, Subai is just a level 2 rookie. He can't understand why this kid dares to resist. The man orders the soldiers to get rid of Subai quickly. He insists they cannot let the young miss lose her chance at the first kill. The troops rush forward without hesitation. Subai doesn't even feel threatened. Instead, he decides to toy with them for a while. Arrows whistle toward him. With a flick of of his dagger, he deflects them all. The motion is so effortless that even Lin Yuchan herself looks stunned. More fighters leap at him, blades flashing. Yet they can't land a single blow. Subai slips through their formation, dodging with ease, and takes them down one after another. The assistant freezes in disbelief. To him, this is impossible. A level 2 rookie shouldn't be able to wipe out trained fighters in an instant. The men falter, then they retreat. Subai warns them that while they may be stronger than the average rookie, they are still far from enough to bring him down. He moves again, striking with precision. Critical hits land one after another, dropping soldiers before they can react. The assistant blurts out in shock that these are critical hits. He can't process what he's seeing, but then he quickly shouts for everyone to fall back. Even while retreating, he grits his teeth and warns Subai not to get too cocky. He asks if Subai even knows whom he has angered. Subai dismisses him coldly. He tells the man that he doesn't care who they are. Anyone who stands in his way won't walk away unscathed. The threat hits hard. The assistant's face twists with rage. Before he can retort, Lin Yuchan suddenly cuts in. She tells her aide, Zhang Fei, to shut up. Then she looks at Subai and calmly suggests that perhaps they should make a deal. Everyone is stunned when Lin Yuchan suggests making a deal. Subai narrows his eyes, curious about the details. Yuchan studies him carefully. He arrived alone, yet from the way he fought earlier, he is clearly no ordinary player. She tells him that there can be no understanding without a fight and asks him to name his price. Her assistant, Zhang Fei, looks uneasy, but Yuchan silences him. Delaying their progress in the Tower of Gods would bring real consequences, and she knows very well that Zhang would never be able to shoulder that responsibility. Subai finally speaks. He tells them that the matter is settled. He guarantees he won't attack again. In return, they must pay a protection fee based on headcount, 1 silver coin per person. To him, that is a fair price. Zhang explodes in anger, demanding to know if Subai is dreaming. But Subai only replies coldly that this is the cost of keeping their lives, and asks if anyone has any objections. Once again, Yuchan cuts Zhang off. She accepts Subai's demand, but instead offers him 3 gold coins, saying he can consider the rest a token of friendship. She also asks him to add her as a friend. Subai then tells her that to add her as a friend, 1 more gold coin is required. To everyone's disbelief, Yuchan agrees. Those behind her clearly dislike the arrangement, but none dare to oppose her decision. Zhang mutters that this stranger is blatantly exploiting the situation. Ignoring him, Yuchan proposes something else. She suggests that Subai join them to hunt the beginner area boss together, so they can claim the first kill reward. Subai thinks to himself that the first boss in the eastern beginner area must be very important to her. He agrees, but adds a condition. He will lead the group. This pushes Zhang over the edge. He snaps that Subai must be dreaming. Lin family elites trained since childhood have no reason to follow a mere level 2 rookie. Subai remains firm. If they want to kill the boss, they must follow his orders. Otherwise, he has nothing more to say. He won't let anyone slow him down. Yuchan surprises everyone by agreeing to his demand. Zhang, however, protests again. He reminds her that Subai is a stranger and not someone they can trust. But Yuchan dismisses his objection. She tells Subai that while he may move freely, leadership is something she cannot hand over. Subai doesn't argue. He simply says that if that is the case, then there is no need to waste more words. He turns to leave. Yuchan calls after him, asking if he doesn't want to reconsider. She offers him 100 gold coins. Subai only replies that the first kill reward is worth far more than 100 gold, and he won't let them waste his time. Zhang sneers at his retreating back, saying that this man thinks he can break the world record for the first kill. To Zhang, it is nothing but a fool's dream. Yuchan secretly doubts him. A solo player? Even I can't guarantee success, let alone him. Meanwhile, Subai sits by a rock and calmly checks his notifications. Now that he's stacked with wealth, he decides to upgrade his gear immediately. He spends 1,650 silver to skip the waiting time. The silver vanishes, and his weapon shines with new power. His stats climb, HP now over 300. With this, he feels confident enough to face the beginner area boss. Back in the tavern, people gossip. Some comment that this year's rookies seem unusually active, and the first kill of the beginner area will probably be decided soon. The tavern lady wonders aloud whether Yen Nation can hold on to that honor, reminding everyone that last year, their guild held the first kill record up to the 9th floor before being overtaken by a super rookie from the Beacon Nation, an SSS class profession. With a sigh, someone says Yen Nation hasn't seen an SSS rookie since Lin the Eternal Swordsman. If even one appeared this year, it would be a miracle. At the cliff, Subai descends descends quickly. The thought of the first kill burns in his mind. He cannot afford to lose. But ahead, he notices a group already fighting monsters. For a moment, he thinks he's late, but then his sharp senses pick up something. The faint trace of energy concealment powder is a cheap trick, useful only against monsters of similar level. Against high-level bosses, it's worthless. Still, it's costly, worth millions. And seeing it here tells him the enemies are well-funded. Dozens of fighters struggle against mobs while their leader watches from behind. Su-bai is relieved. The boss hasn't been provoked yet. If it had, he would have to wait an hour for respawn. One of the group members notices him and asks if they should stop the newcomer. Their leader, Wang Zishi, the legitimate son of the Wang family, one of the three great families of the eastern region, waves him off. To him, Su-bai is just a lone wolf. Li Yura, daughter of another great family, sneers that this fool dares to covet what isn't his. But the sneers fade when Su-bai ignores everyone and heads straight for the boss. The Goblin King roars to life as Su-bai closes in, a notification flashing in his vision. Beginner area boss, Goblin King. The others wait for the slaughter, certain the monster will crush him. Wang Zishi smirks, saying there's no need to interfere, and Li Yura agrees, dismissing him as trash. Then the fight begins. The Goblin King swings his massive club, but Su-bai slips past with ease. His dagger flashes, landing a critical hit that tears away over 100 HP in one strike. The king howls in pain, but Su-bai calls him nothing more than a barking dog and continues. Another critical hit slashes across the monster's chest, another 100 HP gone in seconds. The crowd stares in disbelief. The Goblin King's weak points, chest, lower back, and eyes, are being exploited flawlessly. They can't believe what they're witnessing. A level 2 rookie standing toe-to-toe with the area's strongest monster, parrying its blows and landing devastating counters. Even Li Yura is stunned. None of them expected this lone stranger to last more than a few seconds, let alone overwhelm the boss. The lady turns to Brother GC and asks what is wrong. Brother GC replies that he cannot understand how Su-bai is using Flash Step, since all three of his attacks have been critical hits, something that should not even be possible. Flash Step is a high-level technique that even top players rarely manage to use, so this sight leaves everyone unsettled. They begin debating what to do next, wondering if they should take him down right away. But Brother GC tells them not to rush. No matter how strong Su-bai looks, there is no way he can finish the boss in a single strike. He reminds them of the mantis and cicada proverb, saying that they should wait until Su-bai is nearly at his limit, then strike when the opportunity is perfect. Meanwhile, Su-bai continues the fight with the Goblin King. He tells himself that defeating this opponent will be no harder than chopping vegetables. The monster swings at him again, but Su-bai answers with another precise slash that lands as a critical hit. He remarks mockingly that screaming will not help the Goblin King, and then strikes at its kidneys. The monster howls in pain, but this time the roar sounds different. Su-bai quickly realizes the boss might be summoning reinforcements. The other spectators soon notice it too. Just when they thought the battlefield was almost cleared, more goblins begin to appear. The lady points out that the boss has summoned goblin guards. Brother GC immediately orders everyone to switch into assault formation and break through the encirclement. His teammates rally behind him, encouraging each other to give it their all. The lady, frustrated, wonders aloud if these endless goblin guards are appearing because of Su-bai. Brother GC ignores her complaint and gives another command, telling everyone to clear a path for him. His teammates respond with determination, saying they will get him through and urging him to take the lead. Another member adds that they will carry him forward, all shouting encouragement for Brother Wang to push ahead. In his own thoughts, Brother GC believes there is still time. With Su-bai's damage output, there is no way he could possibly deplete the boss's remaining health instantly. By using a magic scroll, Brother GC is certain he can secure victory and claim the first kill in the eastern zone for himself. He vows not to let anyone else steal that glory. But Su-bai also sees through their scheme. He understands that they are planning to strike at the last possible moment to steal his achievement. He notices that they have even brought along a mid-grade magic scroll, proof that this is indeed a wealthy rival trying to overpower him. Still, Su-bai feels a surge of defiance and tells himself that he wants to see them try. At that moment, Brother GC declares that Su-bai will be destroyed along with the boss. He then activates the mid-grade flame burst scroll, unleashing a massive explosion across the battlefield. Everyone around begins cheering, believing that their leader has finally done it. They praise Brother GC as awesome and assume the victory is his. But the supposed winner himself grows uneasy. He starts to worry when the system remains silent. Then, with growing dread, he blurts out why the system hasn't announced the result yet. At that very moment, the notification appears. It declares that the East Zone beginner town boss has been defeated by player Subai and encourages everyone else to keep working hard. The news hits the entire crowd like a thunderbolt. Their excitement collapses into shock and disbelief. Many cannot understand how this outcome is even possible. Even brother GC himself mutters that it makes no sense for Subai to one-shot the boss. Subai, standing over the fallen Goblin King, explains coldly. He tells them they are fools for not knowing that fatal wounds can stack damage. He reveals that he deliberately targeted the Goblin King's critical weakness and finished it off when it had only 5% health remaining. He adds that he could have ended the fight earlier, when the boss dropped to 20%, but he waited. Instead, he let the others drool over victory until Wang GC wasted his mid-grade scroll, and only then did he deliver the final blow. With a sigh, Subai remarks that it must hurt to think about losing such an expensive item, one worth thousands of gold, for nothing. For Subai, this is more than just a victory. He has been waiting for the chance to teach these wealthy player bullies a lesson, those who rely on throwing money around to crush free-to-play players. Now they are the ones humiliated, left only to wait for the boss to respawn. With a smirk, he tells them farewell and walks away. The announcement quickly spreads to the tavern, where players are already buzzing with talk about someone defeating the East Zone's Goblin King. The news shocks them further when they realize the first kill did not go to one of the three great clans. Speculation rises immediately. Some wonder if the East Zone has a hidden noble Su family behind this mysterious player. Others insist that whoever claimed the kill must be a serious contender, perhaps even someone from a secret clan. A few consider that it could really be Subai, but another player quickly dismisses the thought. He argues that Subai is just an orphan and could never surpass the three great families, suggesting it must be another person with the same name. Yuchan, upon seeing the notification herself, is left speechless. She lashes out in frustration and orders her team to advance to the settlement at full speed. Her command is met with an immediate, unified response of agreement from her people. Meanwhile, Brother Wang's anger burns hotter than ever, now fully directed at Subai. 9:16 p.m. The lady turns to Brother GC and asks what they should do now. Brother replies that everyone should rest and regroup, and in an hour they will farm the next boss. But before his words can settle, a portal opens in front of them. Out steps Yuchan, her expression burning with anger. She demands to know if they intend to take the second boss as well, snapping that she never gave them permission. Just then, a notification appears before Subai. It announces that he is the first player in the East Zone to defeat the Goblin King, granting him access to the Tower of God's reward silver chest. Another line follows immediately, declaring that he is also among the first 100 players globally to unlock the same chest. Two gleaming silver chests materialize in front of him. Subai decides to open them before moving on, reasoning that rare gear might lie inside. The first chest grants him rare boots called One Step Away, along with 10 silver coins. The second chest provides a small XP potion and 30 more silver coins. He inspects the boots and notes that they grant a valuable speed boost, though the level requirement is still beyond his current reach. As he organizes the rewards, another thought strikes him. Since he secured the first boss kill, the Season 10 Global Tower leaderboard should now be open. He pulls it up and checks his standing. His name appears at rank 98. It's a surprisingly low placement, considering he left the beginner village less than 2 hours ago and already killed the Goblin King. He realizes that the top players in other regions must have defeated their bosses nearly an hour earlier. Clearly, wealthy and powerful competitors are not limited to the East Zone. They are scattered across the world. Determined not to fall behind, Subai immediately consumes the small XP potion, gaining a temporary 10% boost to experience gain. He steels himself, thinking that he has no time to waste. 9:16 p.m. With the buff active, he prepares to grind as quickly as possible. Turning back to the portal that has opened, he steps forward without hesitation. He is eager to see what awaits inside, the first dungeon of this season's Tower of Gods. Subai steps into the Tower of God's first floor and immediately recognizes it as the Dark Maze. The tower's beginner zone dungeons are infamous for their variety, each one entirely different in theme, layout, and enemies. Dark Maze, though only an entry-level floor, is notorious for being mid to high difficulty. For most new players, it is a death trap, but Subai remembers this place. Every path, every turn, every hidden dead end, he had memorized it all from his years in the game. The maze hasn't changed. The same patterns still apply, and that gives him a major advantage. Before he can take more than a few steps, however, a pale hand bursts through the ground. A gaunt figure drags itself up, skin stretched over bones, eyes glowing faintly. A notification identifies it as a ghoul. Subai recalls their traits: fast, aggressive, and lethal in groups. If they manage to encircle him, he's done for. He reacts instantly, activating Flash Step to close the distance in a blur and driving his blade into its skull. The critical strike drops the monster instantly, but another ghoul erupts from the floor right behind him. Without hesitation, Subai pivots, strikes again, and lands another decisive blow. This one also falls. The chain of kills, combined with the Goblin King's earlier XP, pushes his level up to 3. Encouraged, he presses deeper into the maze. Soon, he reaches a fork where 2 glowing inscription tablets await, one blue, one red. The blue tablet signifies an easy route, while the red marks the hard path. Subai doesn't hesitate. Harder paths mean greater rewards, and he chooses red. The tablet vanishes, and a massive door materializes in front of him, thrumming with ominous energy. Meanwhile, far away in the Yen Kingdom, the Yeo Dynasty Guild headquarters is abuzz with reports. In the guild's conference room, a woman delivers her update. Young Master Junkai's progress has been smooth so far. Sitting at the head of the table, guild leader Zhou Wang listens with a calm but stern expression. He reminds her that an early lead is meaningless, that the title of Rookie King only belongs to the one who seizes the final prize. The woman smiles politely, insisting that with Zhou Wang's careful arrangements, young Master Junkai is all but guaranteed victory this season. But her words ignite the leader's fury. He roars at her, calling her a fool, warning that the Rookie King is not a title that can be inherited or bought. Every past king carved their name with blood and survival against overwhelming odds. One of the guild's assistants bows his head, agreeing with the leader's criticism. Zhou Wang exhales slowly, temper cooling. He admits softly that he only hopes his son will not disappoint him. Back in the maze, Subai's situation grows harsher. Ghouls continue clawing up from the floor, their shrieks echoing through the darkness. They try to encircle him, lunging from every direction, but Subai stays sharp, cutting them down one by one before the trap can close in around him. So far, Subai's critical hits have been carrying him well. In less than half an hour, his kill count has stacked up, and the tower's generous experience rates keep pushing him forward. After finally clearing a room full of ghouls, something unusual catches his eye: a gray tablet half hidden against the wall. It marks a hidden chamber. Picking the hard route has paid off, and this is his bonus. He decides to go inside. The moment he enters, more ghouls surge out of the ground, far more than before. Their shrieks echo in the chamber as they swarm from every side. He counts quickly. There must be at least 50. With no hesitation, he dives into battle, slashing through them in a blur. Flash Step becomes his rhythm, his blade carving critical strikes as bodies collapse one after another. Half an hour later, the final ghoul falls. Subai is breathing hard, but the notification flashing before his eyes makes it worthwhile. He is leveled up to 4, and gained 2 free attribute points. With the hidden room cleared, he is awarded an S-rank battle evaluation, a perfect clear. The tower grants him 1,000 experience points and a stack of gold. His balanced attribute growth makes him grin. It is exactly what he was aiming for. Now he feels ready. The time has come to challenge the floor's boss. Checking the global rankings, he sees Zhou Junkai sitting at number 1, Lin Mengxian at number 2. Yet neither name shows a boss clear. Subai takes it as a challenge. If no one else has claimed the first clear, then he will. He pushes open the door to the boss chamber. Inside are rows of towering statues, all frozen in place, surrounding a massive, goat-headed figure seated upon a throne in the center. The floor 1 boss, the Minotaur, level 5, 55,000 health points, and infamous for punishing careless adventurers. Around him, ghouls begin to rise, moving to intercept. Subai wastes no time. He uses Flash Step to cut through the fodder instantly, his focus locked solely on the boss. The Minotaur rises slowly, silent and imposing, axe in hand. Just like in the game, it exudes an oppressive aura. Subai hurls his sword at it, testing its defenses, but the boss does not fall for the trick. A thunderous roar follows. A violent wind blasts across the chamber, shaking the floor and rattling the walls. Even the statues along the sides begin to move, stone dragons tearing free from their pedestals to join the fight. Instead of fear, Subai feels his blood pumping. The fight has finally become worthy. The Minotaur swings its axe in a devastating arc. Subai leaps high, using a gap step to avoid the crushing strike, and drives a critical blow against the beast's shoulder. The hit lands, but the boss's massive health bar barely shifts. Only a sliver disappears, a mere 150 points gone. And the real battle has only just begun. The Minotaur lashes out, its massive axe slashing toward Subai. He sidesteps with flash gap, unfazed, and turns the momentum against the boss and its stone minions. The beast stomps the ground, triggering a glowing magic circle. Flames burst outward as the Minotaur activates its signature skill, Bull Charge, and rushes forward with incredible speed. Subai is caught off guard by how quickly the skill has been used, but he regains his composure instantly. He vaults into the air with flash step, avoiding the charge, and drives his blade down in a vicious strike. The hit lands cleanly, this time tearing away a full 1,000 points of the Minotaur's health. The statues surrounding the chamber close in, sensing an opening while Subai is locked against the boss. But he cuts through them in a blur, turning their ambush into free experience. A new notification flashes, level up, Level 5, plus 2 attribute points gained. Without hesitation, he equips a new pair of boots, boosting his speed to terrifying levels. Now he's everywhere at once, darting across the arena faster than the boss can react. The Minotaur roars and swings, but every attack misses as Subai circles it, striking from all directions. The monster grows frantic, unable to lock him down. When he suddenly appears behind it, the Minotaur tries to counter by entering its berserk state. But Subai anticipated it. With its stamina burning too quickly, the effect fizzles out before the boss can land a decisive blow. Subai seizes the moment. A deep stab tears through its hide, inflicting heavy bleeding, and its health bar plummets. The Minotaur is left staggering, an easy target. Subai presses in mercilessly, delivering a final critical strike that rips away 3,000 HP in one blow. The towering beast collapses onto the stone floor, its body dissolving into motes of light. The tower's system flares with a congratulatory message. Boss Minotaur slain. Tower of Gods. Floor 1 cleared. His reward, an entry ticket to Floor 2. The system congratulates Subai once more. A notification announces him as the first player of Season 10 to slay Floor 1's boss, granting him a golden treasure chest, a beginner's experience orb, and gold coins. For him, this pace is acceptable, neither too slow nor rushed. In the past, he would have cleared a floor in half an hour just to move on. But this season, he knows resources and experience are worth more than raw speed. Elsewhere, a massive explosion rocks the battlefield of the Zhou dynasty. Junkai, armed with his father's perfect-grade weapon, the 10,000 Calamities Annihilation Cannon, remarks on its destructive power. The weapon is brutally effective, though costly to use. Confident, he prepares to continue his bombardment until a sudden notification freezes him mid-action. The system declares that player Subai has broken the first clear record, officially clearing Floor 1 and securing the Yen Kingdom's first victory in the Tower of Gods. Junkai is stunned, his disbelief quickly boiling into rage. To him, the idea that someone managed to clear in under an hour, 58 minutes and 59 seconds is absurd. He insists it must be cheating. Word spreads quickly across the global leaderboards. Subai's name flashes to the top, not only for the tower but also for the beginner zone rankings. Players everywhere are shaken. Many question whether such a time is even humanly possible, while others marvel at the appearance of a newcomer this strong. Comparisons are immediately drawn to Li Zhongxian, the last terrifying prodigy the Yen Kingdom had produced long ago. Excitement spreads. This year's Rookie King title might belong to the Yen Kingdom once again. At the headquarters, the kingdom's leader studies the leaderboard, though his assistant tries to calm him, reminding him that young Master Zhou's time was still among the best in history. The leader remains furious. For him, there is no consolation in second place. A loss is a loss. Still, the assistant reminds him there are 9 more floors to go. If Junkai manages to complete his job transfer early, there is still a path to overturn the standings and seize the Rookie King crown. The leader orders an investigation into the identity of the record-breaking newcomer. The assistant immediately agrees, hurrying to carry out the command. Elsewhere, Yuchan sends a direct message to Subai. She first questions if he was the one who interfered with Wang Jiqi and Li Yuran's boss kill, then acknowledges that he has truly seized the world's first clear record. Finally, she offers an invitation. If he is interested, the Lin family would gladly welcome him as an ally. Standing near the portal, even she admits that they had underestimated him. Meanwhile, Subai stands before the golden treasure chest, the kind that only appears for first boss kills and major events. As the very first chest of the season, he knows it must contain something extraordinary. When the lid opens, golden light floods the chamber. Inside lies a perfect grade item, the golden hoe. Subai stares in surprise, wondering if this could be the legendary version he once heard about, an item of immense value in the later stages of the game. Alongside it rests a beginner's experience orb. Using the orb immediately rewards him with 60,000 experience points, pushing his level up to 6. Without hesitation, he spends 3,280 silver to skip upgrade times, enhancing his equipment on the spot. The stat increases feels satisfying, and the temptation makes him upgrade again, laughing as his power continues to surge. With preparations complete, Subai steps toward the portal. He sets himself a small but ambitious goal: clear the first 10 floors within 24 hours. The scene shifts to the Naka Desert, where he materializes on floor 2. His trial progress is currently at 0. A timer begins to count down, 1 minute until the dungeon officially starts. The rules here are simple but grueling. Survive 10 waves of monster invasions. Too slow, Subai thinks. If he wants to maintain his momentum, he'll need to find a way to force the monsters to spawn faster. Just as the countdown continues, a sudden threat emerges. A sawtooth lizard appears right behind Subai, but it isn't alone. Dozens more follow, crawling out to surround him. Even faced with this sight, Subai only feels impatience. The pace is too slow, the waves waste his time. If he lets them drag on, his first clear record will slip away. So instead of waiting, he takes the initiative. His blade flashes, every strike landing a critical hit, and in moments the entire group is reduced to corpses. The system timer keeps ticking. Normally, surviving the wave should take 10 minutes, but Subai finishes in less than 2. Another surge of monsters pours out from the portal, but he dismisses them as still too slow. To accelerate the trial, he activates one step away. Since fate had given him such a glorious restart, he vows to push beyond every limit he once knew. Each monster falls to a single blow, and he declares that he will break all the records from his past life. Moving with relentless speed, he tears through Wave 2, Wave 3, Wave 4, and Wave 5 without pause. At last, he steps into the boss chamber of floor 2. Waiting there is the little werewolf, growling with challenge. Subai hardly considers it a threat. He simply wants it to die quickly and not waste his time. With one strike of steel flash, the creature collapses. The clear notification rings out, awarding him a floor 2 entry ticket to proceed to the next level. Laughing to himself, Subai turns toward the reward waiting at the center of the chamber, another golden treasure chest. He opens it eagerly, and as expected of a perfect clear chest, brilliant light spills forth. Inside rests a piece of perfect grade equipment, linked purple gold armor. He upgrades it once, careful not to push the level too high, or else he won't even be able to wear it yet. The cost is steep, draining a good chunk of silver, but when the upgrade completes, the armor's glow eclipses everything else in his inventory. As expected of perfect grade gear, it radiates unmatched quality, making every other item seem second-rate by comparison. If this hits 1,000 likes, the next part will drop instantly.